I've been learning Japanese for the past 12 months, so let's see what my level is. The video is inspired by all those how I learned a completely new language in 1, 2, 3 months in an hour, which I think are very misleading because sometimes the trick is already knowing the language to a certain degree, or it will require you to study for like 12 hours straight every single day, and like who has time to do that? So today I will try to give you a little bit of a more realistic result. I've broken it down into 8 main things, categories, so let's go one by one and see what my level is. Only a couple of months ago, 3 maybe, I finally felt like I have some sort of a flow to my reading, like I started less, I stopped to think less, I recognize most of the hiragana immediately, except for the ones that are very similar or the ones that are used less often, and the ones that are modified. But I'm doing much better. But let's put it to the test. So I'm gonna open a random text that I haven't read before. Okay. 日本の犬。柴犬は日本の犬です。あまり多くないです。これは茶色い柴犬です。茶色い柴犬は多いです。これは子供の柴犬です。子供の犬は濃いめと言います。Wait. 子供の犬は子犬と言います。可愛いですね. So you get the gist. I can read. Sometimes it takes me a while to understand what I've just read, or sometimes I confuse different hiragana characters, but I do get them after I think about it. Katakana is notoriously harder than hiragana, but I feel like I am also much more confident in it, even though like my reading is very far from flawless. Alfredo は気合やオレンジやストロベリーや酸っぱいの果物のが好きですよ. I don't even know if I read it correctly in all those sentences because I didn't understand what I was saying, but it is my current level of katakana. I began learning kanji this May the 5th to be exact. This is the date when I opened Manikani for the very first time, and I actually really enjoy learning kanji. It's like a lot of fun for me. I know that a lot of people like dread even beginning to study it. So depending on when you start, how much time you spend studying it, and depending on your memory too, it will be very different from person to person. But let's check my level. So Manikani tracks how much I learned. So these are my stats. These are with the radicals also, which I'm not sure, like, should I count them too? I guess I learned them. So in total they say that I've learned 155 kanji so far, but if I add those that I learned from like different other apps, that will add up to about 200, I think. Now, can I recognize them immediately in a text? Yes. Can I tell you what they mean? Not all the time, but like maybe 90% of the time. Now, can I tell you which reading it uses, like onyomi or kunyomi? About 45% of the time. And maybe I'm being even too generous here. But let's take an N5 kanji test to see my level. So I chose N5 level, group 1, and it has 52 questions. Oh my god. Okay, but let's do this. It's a little easier because they give you the options to choose from, so you don't have to like think about it really. You just see the one that you remember it being. Also, they don't check the readings of it, so that's also easier. 100%. But again, I don't know how good of a test this is. Like, it's just recognizing them without being able to read them. I do know how to read them because I was just saying them as I was seeing them. But again, with onyomi and kunyomi, it's a whole ordeal. But it was some sort of a test and I passed, so. Now this one is the most interesting one for me because I distinctly remember the moment when I was just starting to learn, well, not starting, maybe like 3-4 months in, and I could form like super short sentences like koreba pendes or something like this, and I was like, it was so frustrating and annoying that I couldn't put all my thoughts into like a proper long sentence or express how I feel or tell a story or something. I wanted to do it like immediately, and not gonna lie, I still feel like that even though I know a lot more words now and I can like express at least something, and I think like I can hold a little small conversation with someone, but it's not like, it's still annoying and frustrating. Anyway, let's take like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and I'm gonna tell you a little, well, whatever, from the top of my head, in Japanese. Hajimemashite, Tanya desu. Why am I getting nervous like this is an exam or something? Hajimemashite, Tanya desu. 4年ぐらいイギリスに住んでいました。 今からパリに住んでいます。でも私の夢は日本に住んでいます。今年の4月に日本に行きました。本当に素晴らしいです。東京と横浜と箱根と川口湖に行きました。富士山はとっても綺麗です。1年ぐらい日本語を勉強しています。ちょっと難しい、でもとっても面白いです。私の仕事はスクリプトライターです。動物のことが書きます。とっても可愛いです。でもちょっと難しいですね。I guess that's all I can come up with now. I wish you could ask me a question so I'd have something to like talk about. Because just saying sentences is a little weird. But if you know Japanese, I'm pretty sure I made some mistakes along the way of telling my short story. But yeah, I'm quite excited because like comparing to what it was, it's like amazing, and I'm really like seeing the progress is what really motivates me. Being able to read both katakana and hiragana and kanji is one thing, because when it comes to writing, I sometimes forget like the easiest stuff, like hiragana mi, or the kanji I've been using like for the past month every single day, and I just suddenly forget how to write it. It's weird, but I do try to learn all the stroke orders and stuff, and even though sometimes I still can mess it all up, but I'm happy that I can do it the right way. And this summer I wrote a whole letter to my study buddy. It was amazing seeing myself writing a whole page in just completely Japanese, also using some kanji. So as you can see, I can write like pretty well. Well, at least I'm quite happy with it. I've been watching anime, Japanese dramas, and listening to Japanese music for a very long time, since I was like 10 years old probably. So a sudden Japanese speech doesn't jump scare me. But at the same time, when I need to actually understand what they're saying, so when it's like a test or something, not just me watching something and reading the subtitles without comprehending the Japanese speech, when I know that I will need to answer the question at the end of it, and especially when they use numbers and month or something, I need to take like a good 5 minutes to break it all down and understand what they said. But I don't really have like an overall delay in understanding like I had when I was learning English, because I remember like with English it was very saturated. Like I heard a sentence and I'm still thinking about the translation in my head when they said another sentence, and I have this like I'm delayed by one step. And with Japanese I go with it together, and I can't even put in the words the joy, the pure joy I feel whenever I am watching something Japanese and I understand a whole sentence without even looking at the subtitles. Like I feel like one day I will be able to watch like a whole 30-minute episode without even looking at subtitles, turn them off. But like overall the problem with listening and understanding is based on lack of vocabulary and some grammar gaps. Speaking of vocabulary, I don't use anything specific to learn words like Duolingo or some deck flashcards or whatever. I prefer to learn the words just as I go. If it's a lesson in a book, or maybe it's Vanikani when they introduce kanji and I don't know this word, I can learn it. I do have a list of N5 vocabulary that I printed out, and I highlighted all the words that I know. I believe this booklet has about 800 words, and this is exactly how much you need to learn for the N5 exam. And I also, of course, learned some random words here and there, not just according to this booklet or anything. I feel like other people might say that you could have learned a lot more in a year. But at the same time, I was like studying to the best of my ability, so that's the level I'm at. And last but not least, grammar. Not gonna lie, grammar can be very tough. I use Japanese from Zero books, and I went through book 2 3 times and through book 3 2 times. And I still struggle with some concepts. Like conjugations are pretty hard for me, and like just the amount of different ways to say stuff and different forms to use. But it is of course getting better the more you do it. So basically the trick to grammar is just doing it as much as you can. Practice really does make perfect. So yeah, that's my level of Japanese after studying for 12 months. Although now that I think about it, it may be actually a little less, like 10 months probably. There was a period in the beginning when I was studying every single day, like for an hour at least, for like 3 to 4 months. And then I got a study buddy and it turned into twice a week, but sometimes for like 5 hours straight. And sometimes I wasn't doing anything. Sometimes I was doing just kanji. So like I wasn't studying like a maniac. It didn't take over my whole life. But at the same time, I was trying to like keep a routine and to do at least a little bit every day. And of course, my level doesn't represent every learner. Sometimes after studying a year, you will know less or more than me, but I hope I was able to give you like a general idea. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!